OCO, free thinkers.
I make you think, yeah. I make you think, I make you think. Shout out to the Black Cowboy Coalition. Here we go.
No, American history. You did not learn in school.
No, there were Native Americans that lived around Yosemite and in Yosemite. The 10th Cavalry, United States Buffalo Soldiers, we went there and we built Yosemite. We built the roads, we built the buildings, we built all the structures there. And then we did so well, they said, well, let's send them over to Sequoia. So we went over to Sequoia.
Oh my goodness. Can y'all hear what Elder's saying?
No, there were Native Americans that lived around Yosemite and in Yosemite. The 10th Cavalry, United States Buffalo Soldiers, we went there and we built Yosemite. We built the roads, we built the buildings, we built all the structures there. And then we did so well, they said, well, let's send them over to Sequoia. So we went over to Sequoia. We built Sequoia. The next thing you know, we're the first national park range. We built national.
What'd I tell you? Yeah, but they supporting us though. They supporting us. Shout out to the 10th Cavalry of the Buffalo Soldiers. They supporting us. The Black Cowboy Coalition. Shout out to them. The Cowboys were the Indians. The Indians were the Cowboys. Dane pauses at the right time. His face, yeah. He talking to him. And think he ain't strapped here. Quick draw. And he'll talk to you softly too. Now I done told you 2-3 times not to do that, young boy. Now if I pull this thing out, you ain't gonna be living no more, boy. You better hush your mouth and listen to your elder when I'm talking to you. I had this voice down pat, didn't I? I could impersonate voices quick. You can't tell me I wasn't accurate right there.
All right, racist.
They just got here. And you can't trace Native American to American Indian by way of paperwork. That's a brand new term that just started in the 1970s.
Let's talk about the original American Destiny swap geared towards confusing an entire continent.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Set it on fire, 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 fire.
Uh-oh. However, Karma at it again. He on their throat, too. He on their neck. Talk to him. Racist. They just got here. And you can't trace Native American to American Indian by way of paperwork. That's a brand new term that just started in the 1970s.
Let's talk about the original American Destiny swap geared towards confusing an entire continent. The most diabolical life swap trick in history was pulled by the European colonizers. Not only did they sneakily steal the land, they systemically committed identity and name theft of Black Indigenous head of households. They forcibly baptized leaders, giving them European first and last names like John Smith or James Brown. Meanwhile, the true American Indian's name was replaced, thus removing the ability to trace lineages of the true Americans.
Ooh. Hey, however, Karma, and you cold, brother. You cold. You cold. That's what I'm talking about. And he of a totally different race now. And I could appreciate when they keeping it real. And I'm pretty sure he pissing them off here. I know he is. Talk to him.
Form of psychological warfare. The goal was twofold. First, to strip the leader of their ancestral identity and their spiritual authority. Second, and more insidiously, to create a fraudulent paper trail that would later allow outsiders to claim to be the first people on this land. It was a lie designed to sever the true indigenous people from their own history, making it easier to steal their land and justify their enslavement by pretending they were just another group of immigrants or lost Africans. Now let's apply this understanding of theft to the famous 5 civilized tribes. They were the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, Muskogee, and Seminole nations, primarily located in the southeast region of North America. What?
Let's let that sink in for a minute. The majority of us know this. He's not only talking to some of our people who are, ignorant to this stuff. Keep in mind, his folks is watching him. So I know I take heat. And I know he taking heat as well.
What does the civilized label mean? Civilized label was a colonizer term for tribes that assimilated through force, like written constitutions, plantation slavery, and Christianity, in an attempt to negotiate for sovereignty and survival. Under policies like the Dawes Rolls in the late 1800s, the US government conducted enrollment to decide who was officially a tribal member eligible for land allotments. The process was weaponized, using tools like Walter Plecker's racial integrity policies and the one-drop rule. Black Indigenous members of these tribes were often their original people, were systematically purged from the rolls and reclassified as freedmen or simply black. Their legal Indian identity was erased with the stroke of a pen. Now that we know about the tribes that were reclassified, the original people of the Southeast, the tribes of Virginia, and the millions of American Indians in Oklahoma, Black Americans have direct ancestry to these tribes, but were stripped of that legal identity. And with that being said, this information doesn't erase anyone. This removes erasure.
Shout out to Havakaba. Yeah, 2026 on fire, bruh. Watch.
All right,
this one.
This is a map on the government website showing a list of Native American Indian boarding schools. But notice something. Do you notice something that you should notice? Where are the schools in this area?
Let's talk about the Indian boarding schools that were set up for Indian freedmen in North America. The first school we will learn about is the Tallahassee Manual Labor Boarding School for Creek freedmen. It is stated that this school was funded by the Creek Nation in the Indian Territory. The Tallahassee School was originally founded in 1850 as the first of 3 boarding schools for the education of Creek children by the Creek Nation. Interesting. Why would Black Americans be schooled by tribes in Indian Territory? Let's keep going. In December 1880, the 3-story brick school building was mostly destroyed in a fire. For many years, Tallahassee was the only school in Indian Territory to offer schooling beyond elementary grades for Indian freedmen. Tallahassee was the only freedmen boarding school to remain open after the tribal dissolution in 1906. It remained a school for Black Americans until 1924. Not Native Americans, mind you. And there's that year again, 1924, the Indian Removal Act. Frames start to connect. And now
good. I'm glad you did that.
The Nation established schools for its freedmen, including the Cherokee Nation Colored High School. The school was opened near Tahlequah, Oklahoma at Double Springs, serving about 25 students with efforts to educate freedmen originating within the tribes. Education for freedmen was initially driven by each of the 5 tribes, with the Cherokee Nation providing some high school opportunities. Cherokee High School went on to become the Carter G. Woodson High School as its
he going
another school tied to tribal origins but created for Black Americans. Freedmen boarding schools were built 29 years before the Native American boarding schools discussed in yesterday's video, and 15 years before slavery supposedly ended in 1865. So if we follow the colonizer's story, how in the heck were enslaved people being indoctrinated and educated by themselves? All of the educators at both groups' boarding schools were HBCU educated Black teachers. When something's off, the whole timeline will shatter, and we can all see the bits and pieces all over the floor. America is not as old as they say it is, and Black Americans were here first.
Very good point. Very good ending. Very good ending. I like that. That whole video was good. That's very good. That's very good. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably gonna clip that part with the Carter G. Woodson School. I'm gonna probably clip that because I have something to match with that myself. Oh yeah, no, he was cooking. He don't play. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Y'all about to, okay. It's 2026. I'ma just keep saying it.
Indigenous traditions that your Black ass do, that they tried to gaslight you into saying that you don't have no culture. Part 2. Okay, y'all.
Wait a minute. Now her name, Kennedy Duval. Kennedy Duval on TikTok. That's her name, Kennedy Duval.
Telling our history by mouth. So y'all know when we was little, we heard the first president was Black. So that means we heard George Washington was Black. We did not learn that in school. It was Black people who told us that. That's Indian shit. All right, y'all, my aunt, balance. We were always balanced, y'all. Y'all know how they be like, Black people, they so resilient, and no matter what you throw at them, they gonna always be happy and woo, woo, woo. Y'all, we also the opposite of that. We love to fight. We love to whoop motherfuckers' ass. We are natural warriors. You wanna break dance?
Oh, no. No, I can't play that. Wait, that's copyrighted. Wait.
Fight.
Oh, she's still playing it. Okay, wait, she picked it back up right here.
That's Indian shit, y'all. I'm telling you. The bow and arrow. Indian shit. All right, and a lot of us when we were little used to make bow and arrows. And we used to grab the rocks and try to shave them into the arrowheads. Why?
The rocks were
Okay.
sharpeners for us.
Another one.
I definitely did that.
Nigga.
Now look at
Using nigga. Negro.
Oh my God, wait, no, she playing more copyrighted music. I can't play that because that's copyrighted.
Confederate flag. That's our shit. Indian shit. And the last one. Y'all know, y'all used to watch your mama or your great grandma or your grandma. She never threw her hair away. She never threw her hair away and burned it. Indian shit.
Right.
But this is the things that they want to die out of our culture with this whole social media shit. Y'all.
She's right.
Indian shit. We been here. This our shit. This Turtle Island. And don't let nobody make you think that you don't got no fucking culture, because yes, you do.
She's right. Yeah, nah, she's absolutely correct.
Set it on
Shout out to Kennedy Duvall on TikTok. That's deep though, especially with the hair part. I'm actually glad that she closed it with that. Based off of what I was told from my grandparents and my mama, like basically you're supposed to burn it because people can cast spells over your hair. Okay? They can cast spells over your hair and do things to you that can harm you. Y'all familiar with that, right? We don't gotta get all deep on that part, right? Y'all familiar with that? Give me a 13 in the chat if y'all familiar with that. Yep, yeah, people would burn it, flush it down the toilet. Yeah, that's right. Or people would literally take it and keep it. Some of them would take it and keep it. Don't forget that. Yep, and people, well, that's right. When people cut out their hair when they got dreads, they keeping that as well. That's true. You don't let nobody take control of your hair. In fact, that goes down to people doing your hair. Y'all know I got long hair. That person has to be spiritually in tune in order for that to work out with me. That's why you don't want a lot of people in your hair neither. That's another thing, ladies. Like if you got 2-3 hairdressers, or like I understand if you gotta if you're traveling, you gotta go out of state. But boy, oh boy, you should be picky. But who's in your hair? Who's touching your hair? If you got one, you need to have her travel with you. You know what I mean? Or him, because sometimes it could be guys doing your hair too. But yeah, let them travel with you.
OCO, free thinkers.
I make you think, yeah. I make you think, I make you think, yeah. I make you